What's the crack? What's the bleeding story? How yous all doing? And all that bollocks. Big game today. The FA Cup day for us. I'm buzzing. I love the FA Cup. I'm excited about it. I'm positive, very positive today, this morning. I'm not long up, to be honest with you. Having me cup of tea here. Yeah, so I'm not long up. I have Niall from the Upper Tier coming on, Liverpool supporter. Going to have a chat to him about today's match, who he thinks is going to start, who I think is going to start, all that bollocks. You know, the usual shite. Oh, preview, post-match, all this bollocks. You know yourself. Please put in the comments as well. Results. I want results. Score predictions first. We'll start with score predictions, actually. Yeah, give us a score prediction yourself. I'll give a score prediction. I'll wait for Niall as well to give us his score prediction. Lineups as well. Who do you want to see playing? Who do I want to see playing? And all that shite. But I'm looking forward to the game. I'm actually positive, excited about the game. It's FA Cup. It's for me, it's like an old school game today. That's what I want to see. I want to see that from Liverpool and I want to see that from Arsenal. And I think we will get it because Klopp is going to bring a good, strong Liverpool team. They don't have Salah. It's going to be interesting who they put instead of Salah, who they're going to put up front and stuff like that. And I'm excited actually to hear what Niall has to say about that. We have Tomiyasu is gone to the African or the Asian Cup. We have a few injuries. It's going to be interesting. But as I'm talking here, I can just see the man in the background. So why not leave? Why leave him there? Put him in. Put him straight in. Nilo, what's the crack, mate?
How are you, my friend? How's things?
All good, all good. I took my winter break in December. You know what I mean? So I'm fresh. I'm raring to go, and I'm positive today. We're gonna knock the bollocks out of you. I don't fucking think so. Bring it on, yeah. But while I'm just talking shy here, will you drop your link into the chat and I'll try and put it in later on afterwards. But please do check out Niall's channel. He does all Liverpool stuff, football stuff as well. I love the Monday Mash and all that stuff, and wrestling as well. If you're into that, please do check him out. So drop your link into the comment there, and please do just hit a sub on his channel. Please help him out. He's a fucking top man. And just this morning, I just texted him just to say here, would he mind coming on? And he just says, absolutely no bother, Dale. But when you have that done, we'll please do just subscribe. And I just want to shout out to just a few people in the chat while you're doing that, Nilo. Henry's in the chat. Big up, Henry. How are you, mate? Akers is in. If Arteta loses the P45 immediately afterwards, we're throwing punches already, Niall. I hope you know what you're coming into here, mate. Jesus out for 3 months, apparently. Wow, that's going to hurt us. We have to get a signing in straight away. Del Boy on the hot whiskey. Come here. Do you know what? I probably will later on. I'll probably need not even the hotness in the whiskey after the Liverpool game, but we'll see. Dave, what's the crack, mate? How you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. Give us a score prediction there if you don't mind, if you're still there. Stuart Lakey, think it will be a draw. But if we lose, Arteta is under pressure, and I've never been his biggest fan anyway. Yeah, I can hear you. I think the pressure will be on him. 6 games without a win. He needs a big victory today. And if he gets the victory, I think that's cementing him in the job for another few months anyway. I can't even pronounce his name. Is a massive loss for Liverpool in battling midfield. And I 100% agree with that comment. I'll be interested to see what you have to say about that, Niall. But yeah, first of all, Niall, what do you make of that comment there? Big loss for you today.
Yeah, Dominic, he's been excellent this season. He's come off form a little bit, but we knew there would be a drop off. I mean, he couldn't sustain the form that he was under. I think the first maybe 10, 12, 14 games, he was absolutely exceptional, him and McAllister. But I think there was bound to be a drop off. He's a young lad. He's 22. He's the Hungarian captain, but he was outstanding. So it's no harm. But yeah, big loss. It was unfortunate, and we were just about to sub him as well the other day, just before it happened as well, which is really unfortunate as well. So yeah, big loss. Salah as well off to the AFCON. Obviously, a huge loss. We know how he enjoys playing against Arsenal. And
Yeah.
also Endo, who's come into the team as a six, who started off a little bit shaky, couldn't really get in. He was playing McAllister in the six mainly, and Endo was kind of the backup, if you like. And then he came in when McAllister got injured, and he's kind of made the six his own. And unfortunately, he's off to the Asian Cup as well, just when he was starting to play really, really well. So, unfortunate, yeah, that they're gone. But look, listen, when you're competing on so many fronts and against so many trophies and stuff like that, you're going to have, there's going to be problems along the way and stuff like that you have to deal with. And that's why you need a squad. The one thing I was talking about a few weeks ago, I was on Jack's channel, Anfield Road TV. And the one thing that was encouraging is when we're bringing our subs on now, we actually have a bench there that has a bit of quality in there now. You've seen it there. Was it last week against the Newcastle game or something like that? We were bringing Gakpo on and Jota came on and stuff like that. So we have a bit of quality there. So I'm not overly worried. Last time they went off to the AFCON as well, funny enough, everyone said we were going to fall on our sword. And we actually had a really, really good January, actually. Last time the AFCON was on. So I'm not overly worried about it. I think we will do a bit of business in the window as well. I think we have to. I still think there's a number of areas that need to be strengthened if we want to be serious in terms of a title defence. I think we found ourselves in a very advantageous position, but we have had 18 points from losing positions, which is something that's really good in terms of a mentality point of view, but not something you can sustain. So it will come back and bite you at times. So yeah, I think we need to go into the market. A couple of players there would be really vital for us. We do like the January window as well. We brought in Gakpo, we brought in Luis Diaz. So January for us tends to be a happy hunting ground generally for players. I think Suarez came in the January window one time as well, going back a little bit and stuff. So so it's at the moment it's reasonably good. I'd say we're probably ahead of ourselves from where we find ourselves. Because we couldn't have expected a total rebuild of a midfield like that to go as seamlessly as did. Obviously, we picked up one or two injuries now, so we're being questioned and tested, if you like. But all good at the moment. Liverpool fan looking good in the Europa, good in the league, good in the FA Cup, semi-final Carabao Cup. I think it's gone as good as we could have wanted.
Yeah, like I want to touch on that. Like this time last year, you weren't in a good place. And I thought it'll take Liverpool about 2 seasons maybe to get back to where they want to be. But my God, Klopp has done some job in that midfield, because it was actually, I remember being on someone's stream and saying that Liverpool are done for about 2 years because of that midfield. You have Hendo gone, everything else that happened. But Klopp, it just shows you a top quality manager, like what he has done. Like how did he do that so quick? You know what I mean? I'm just like, even with Elliott today, for example, the way he's brought him through and nurtured him into the Liverpool team is fucking phenomenal. Because you have Salah, probably one of the best attacking players on the planet at the minute, and when he comes out of a team, he's a huge loss. For me today, I'd stick Elliott in for a replacement. And now, I'm no Liverpool expert. You're probably there, Dale, you're fucking mad. But is that something you'd probably think, or is that what he's going to do? I don't know.
No, my kind of thinking when I looked at the team and what we have available, and I've been discussing this whole Salah after the AFCON now for a couple of months, like kind of what is the plan? And for me, if it was me today, I don't think he would go with this. But if it was me today, what I would do is I would be putting Harvey in where Dominic is on the right side of midfield. And what I would be doing is I would be putting Núñez over there. Now, people might think I'm absolutely crazy because he normally operates on the left, or he normally operates down the centre, and obviously needs at times a number of chances. But the reason I will put Núñez on the right is, if you go back to the Newcastle game, where Núñez scored 2 absolute bangers to win it for us off the right-hand side from counter-attack as well. And I think that's where he could be a little bit dangerous. And you're also putting Núñez in there, if I'm right. He's potentially going to come up against Kivior. I don't know if Zinchenko's back. I haven't heard Arsenal news team. Either way, though, I would fancy Núñez to give both those boys a bit of a horrendous time. But what I'm also seeing as well is, if you look at your 2 centre-backs now at the moment, there's a few little questions creeping in about them. Saliba obviously has been absolutely excellent up till recent times. Gabriel, there's always been questions about him. At times he can be a little bit crazy, if you like. So I would fancy a Darwin Núñez coming in off the right side, switching into the left, facing up against a Kivior, or if Kivior isn't there. We know Kivior probably isn't up to the level. And Zinchenko, if he plays there, tends to avoid that, so will leave plenty of room. So basically, he's going to be facing Gabriel, and I think putting Nunes in there to run at Gabriel and turning maybe could cause you problems. And also, I think Nunes from the right-hand side has shown his finishing ain't too bad compared to when you see him on the left or central. So I would fancy Nunes there with Harvey just in behind him linking up. Now, I don't think that's what the gaffer's going to go for, but if it was me, that would be my thinking there in terms of putting you under a bit of pressure that side. Obviously, McAllister goes into the 6. The back line kind of picks itself. Looking forward to seeing John Gomez as well, facing up to Bukayo Saka. That's going to be an interesting combination because Joe has had a lot of critics, namely myself as well as being in there. But since the season has started, when he's come in, he's looked really, really good. He's looked assured. He's looked composed. He hasn't been the crazy Joe Gomez that we've seen in the past that kind of, shatters on confidence in moments and all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to see that kind of that battle there between Gomez and Bukayo Saka. Should be interesting. Saka, of course, who we know has been kind of off form, hasn't been at his best. Your whole front line hasn't been at its best. Bewildering at times. So it'll be interesting to see how Joe matches up against Saka. Should be interesting. Then the midfield, which is going to be interesting as well. And we know that Curtis Jones does fancy a game against Arsenal. He has been a bit of a thorn in your side in the past and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to see Curtis as well. I really like Curtis as a player because he's always on the front foot. He's always positive. He's always looking to create stuff. He's not always looking. Some of the complaints for your own fan base come for your own team is you're not always on the forward, on the front foot. You're always checking back in, side passes, back passes, not as positive as you should be, which at times obviously hampers your front players like Saka and Martinelli and stuff like that because it's always kind of reset and go again and giving teams chances to reorganize and all that kind of stuff. So that should be interesting as well, that midfield battle there. Really looking forward to seeing McAllister and Rice. That's going to be intriguing. That's for sure. And then I don't know who goes into the middle. If Jesus is out, is it Eddie?
Yeah, I think Eddie, is it? Yeah, he will. He will. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'd be very surprised if Eddie Nketiah gets any change out of Konate or Van Dijk, to be honest. So that's going to be really, really tough for you. I think the game will hinge probably on whether Martinelli can find his form again and have a go off Trent and stuff like that. That's really where it will be. The last game, I think he was really, really poor. Trent had him all day. We know in the past Martinelli has unlocked Trent before as well. It's been this ongoing meme between the two of them when we face each other anyway. But I think that competition there is going to be interesting. I really believe the kind of winner that comes out of that battle there could be the situation that unlocks the game. So yeah, that's it. So it's just always look forward to it. Love the FA Cup. I can't understand why people disrespect it and stuff like that. It's the oldest football cup. I really love it. And who doesn't want to be at a final in June in Wembley and stuff like that? It's great. I love the Carabao Cup as well. I love all of them, so it's but I think it's pivotal today for you guys as well. I've heard a number of people mention it's a bigger game today for Arteta than it even is for Arsenal. Now that might sound a little bit weird, but if you think about it, in the league at the moment, looks a little bit iffy. There's a lot more people competing for the league this year, so it's going to be more difficult. Spurs are hanging around, Villa hanging around, City are back in the charge again, KDB is going to be back, all those kind of things, So it's going to be really difficult, and then you have ourselves and Villa and all that and all. So it's going to be a tough title race. So for Arsenal to win out in the title race is much more tougher this year than what it was last year. I think in the Champions League, I think you could still certainly do well, but I think it's going to be a struggle. Could you see Arsenal getting home in the Champions League and winning it? No. You're out of the Carabao Cup. So today is the FA Cup. It's kind of last chance saloon in some respects for silverware. Now, I know it's early in the league title race still. We're only in January. You're still in and around it. But the form you've shown over the last month or so would suggest that you're probably going to struggle a little bit. Just my overall thoughts on it. So I think this is a huge game today for Arteta, and I'd be concerned if he started making changes. Like if you look at us today, we're going to put Alisson in nets, no doubt. Queeveen will come in. Our boy Queeveen, of course, Irish goalkeeper Kelleher, he'll come in on Wednesday for the Carabao Cup games. So we wouldn't expect to put him in there. So we'll go as strong as we can today. I don't expect us to make wholesale changes. We'll deal with the players we have available. But this is important for Klopp. Klopp doesn't tend to bin off trophies. That's not his style at all.
He
takes everything. Yeah, he takes everything very serious. So I think it's going to be a great game. As you said, you're going through a bit of a confidence thing at the moment and stuff like that. There's a lot of questions out there. There's a lot of talk about players potentially going out, maybe trying to bring players in. Your lack of goals is what will always come back and bite you in the backside, and eventually, it'll catch up for you if you have a defense that's lacking confidence at the moment. So you're also shipping goals as well as not scoring them. That's not a great recipe. But we'll see. It's a one-off game. Would it surprise us if it went to a replay? Last thing that we need is a replay either side. Because then you're going into more and more sort of games and stuff, and it's just I don't know why they don't just do penalties in the FA Cup the same as the Carabao Cup.
Well, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think for me, like Arsenal are on next game is in 2 weeks' time, so I think, excuse me, I think they're going to go to over to Dubai or somewhere like that, for their their break. So it's not. For me, he has to start the strongest team he can because you're getting a 2-week break. It's the FA Cup. And as you rightly said there, the league, I don't think Arsenal are going to win it this year. We were up against it, with City, with yourselves. That's a lottery. Anything can happen. I don't personally think we'll win it. I don't think we're strong enough to do it, compared to you guys. So this is our only trophy. I know people are saying, we're still in the Champions League. I think we should beat Porto. But I think Bayern Munich are looking good. There's too many strong teams there in Europe. But the FA Cup, you're playing Liverpool today, a big, strong team. Go out, put your strongest team out there and give it a good go. That's all I want to see today. When people say, Del, but Arteta this and Arteta that, I understand it. If we lose today, you're losing against a Liverpool team, a strong Liverpool team. And as you said, Liverpool are taking this competition serious. We're going to be playing a strong, well-drilled Liverpool team today. And I don't mind, obviously I do mind losing, but I don't mind if they go out and give it 110% and try. That's all I want. I don't want to be seeing a weakened team and, losing it from the off. Because we have this 2-week break, you can get these players. They're professional players. They're fit. They're strong. You know what I mean? They are going to be pampered. They're going to be given the best of food, everything like that. They're going to be on a 2-week holiday, training camp and all this stuff. You know what I mean? This is your game. This is your final today. You know what I mean? To win a trophy. Arsenal should be winning a trophy if they want to consider themselves a top team. You know what I mean? Liverpool, give it every season, every second season, they're winning something. You know what I mean? They're going there. They're getting into the Champions League finals, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup. They're running for the league. Arsenal, I'm not saying they deserve. No one deserves it. But if you want to count yourself as a top team, you have to be challenging on all fronts. Today, it will be Eddie up front. I'm saying, and I'm looking forward to the McAllister Rice in that midfield battle. I'm excited about that because I rate McAllister so highly. I don't think Liverpool have got the best out of him, and I know he's only after signing in the summer. But Brighton, for example, people say they lost Casado, they lost McAllister. McAllister, for me, he was the missing gear of Evan Ferguson so far this season. And I know that on a personal front because I know his coach. I know Evan Ferguson's old coach at Kevin's. And he was telling me that Evan actually said that he misses McAllister because McAllister was able to spot the runs, everything like that. I was looking at Brighton yesterday and Evan Ferguson was making them runs and the ball just wasn't coming to him. He was straight through on goal at one stage. Danny Welbeck didn't square it to him and stuff like that. And it's affecting his play. Brighton have a top class. Niall, Evan Ferguson's a great footballer, but it's just the people around him aren't feeding him that ball and so on. And I think McAllister is that type of player. Like with Rice, with us, when Rice gets the ball in the defensive position and the way he just straight away, and it opens up the play. Declan Rice is world class at that. I have to give it to him. Watch him today. When he gets a ball in the defensive position, straight away he's turning, he's looking, he's running. And if there's no pass going, he'll just keep going. You know what I mean? And I'm interested to see in the McAllister what way he's going to sort of defend that counter-attack and stuff like that. I'm excited about that. But unfortunately, we have Eddie up front. I don't rate the chap. I think he's not good enough for Arsenal. He wouldn't be good enough for a top 6 team, and Jesus is injured. I think he's out for a few weeks. I think a month or two, actually. So we're already stuck for a striker there. We have to go in January to sign someone. I don't think we will get that sign, and Arsenal don't really do what Liverpool do with your Suarez, the signings that you guys do. Gakpo, I think you got Gakpo, did you?
Gakpo, last one, and Luis Diaz, the one before,
yeah, exactly, yeah. Arsenal just don't do that, and it's what we need to do. We like Ivan Toney, everyone's talking about him. Yeah, 100%. I think we need a player like him, but I don't think we're going to get him. But anyway, back to today's game. It's going to be interesting to see how Saliba and Gabriel are going to manage your guys up front. You know what I mean? And if you're saying that they're like, for me, Saliba and Van Dijk are the best 2 centre halves in the league. I don't think there's anyone else better than them. They're world class. And I just love watching Saliba play. Just the way he just makes it so easy against Haaland, against Man City. Haaland was like, he had him in his pocket all day. Simple football.
He's very like Van Dijk.
Exactly.
Very like Van Dijk in the way he plays. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's no panic around it. It's all very relaxed, but it's just, I suppose, over the last few weeks, certain little questions have crept in and stuff like that, where they've just been getting caught out and things like that. And also, once that gets into him, well, like we seen it last year, how many Liverpool fans last year wanted Van Dijk sold because he was, he still hadn't got that confidence back in after coming back off the injury. Now you're seeing a Van Dijk like the previous Van Dijk, where he has a lot more confidence now. In terms of going in for the tackle and playing and stuff like that. He's not as worried about the knee as he was prior to the comeback and so, or at the comeback and stuff. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like with Joe, with Gomez, I think like I was one for shouting out for Saka to get a rest and stuff like that, but I don't want him rested today. I want him there, and I want him riled up and just going, like, in his head, just going, there's a chance for me today because Gomez is there. Like, you know what I mean? No offense to Gomez, but Saka is just like, he's a quality player. He should be raring to go for this game. He should be there. There's a chance for me to have a man of the match or have a goal or have an assist or like make an impact on the game today because of Gomez. And I'm not disrespecting the chap, but it's vice versa for Gomez as well. Gomez there, I'm marking Saka today. If I do a job today, it's raising my level.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a key battle on the pitch and stuff like that. The one thing I have seen over the last couple of weeks as well is we've brought an awful lot of energy to our matches. So we're kind of on a high at the moment because we're kind of playing well. We're creating a lot of chances. Now, obviously, we're not finished them as good as we should, but we're bringing a lot of energy and creating a lot of chances. And if you look at that last game, we could have absolutely punked Newcastle, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then if you look at you guys in your last few games, you've looked kind of leggy. You've looked kind of leggy and you've looked kind of fatigued and tired and kind of like, it's like as if the mental fatigue, and we felt it as well a couple of seasons ago, when you've chased down Man City to try and win a league, or you've tried to fend them off for a whole season, it's absolutely exhausting on you, and you bring it into the next season. It's tiring. Like unbelievable. We've been doing it now for 4 or 5 years, 6 years maybe at this stage, trying to fend off Man City to get over the line on leagues and stuff like that and all. It's so difficult, and it really is fatiguing. And I think maybe the pressure of having to deliver a trophy, the pressure of having to deliver a league this year, you went out in the summer, you spent money. Now, we can argue all day here, did you spend the money in the right places or the wrong places?
Yeah.
I would say potentially in the wrong places, considering what you knew, what you needed. But the money is spent anyway, so the expectation is that the league, you were going to kick on now and have a better run at the league this year, and that was where it was going to be. And obviously being back in the Champions League and stuff like that is huge as well. And I think the weight of expectation there and the pressure that the players are feeling, and the fact that you could argue that both of us didn't put enough distance between ourselves and Man City when they were away on the World Club Cup thing and stuff like that and all. So they came back on, this is great. We're only a handful of points off these guys, because they could have been 12 in reality, but they weren't. So we didn't do enough there. So what I have said is, whoever does the best business in the January transfer window is the team that's going to kick on and potentially win the league. So we have to go out and do business in the January window if we want to fend off Man City. Kevin De Bruyne coming back. I think they've already signed a South American player already who looks really, really good. I'm sure they'll probably bring in more players, plus other players coming back and stuff like that. So Man City are going to come really strong as they always do second half of the season. We haven't created enough of a gap. And I think from your point of view, I think you're behind them now, are you? Are you one off them? Or are you?
No, behind them, yeah.
So you would have never expected that. You would expect it to have at least 6, 7, 8 points of a gap there when they came back, and it didn't happen. Typically we drew as well, of course, both our game, the game that we played against each other, so that didn't help either. Because both of us dropped points. And in order to keep Man City off this season and stop them doing 4 in a row, I think we're going to need a number of teams around that title race, so the pressure really ratchets up. Not just us and them, or us or yous and them. It's going to take more. Because I think it was very easy last year when it was just yous and them, like it's been us in the past. They love that situation because they can just hunt you down and find you and get at you. Yeah. And that's typically what they do, and they're brilliant at it. So I think it's just one of those things where if we're serious about winning a title, if you are serious about winning a title, you have to go out and get a Tony. You have to go out and get a Vlahovic or whatever it is. You got to get a goal scorer. You got to get him in there, and then you got to have a look at that back line as well. I mean, Ben White obviously has been a pale shadow of the player he's previously been. Looked off. As I said, your 2 centre-backs look a little bit shaky at the moment, even though the quality is there. And then that left-back situation for me is just a weird situation. Zinchenko, I can't understand it. Kivior, I don't think he was even brought in for that, to be honest. But he's just how many makeshift guys has he thrown in there as well, which isn't a great recipe in a key area on the pitch. Yeah, and I think that can lead to trouble. And I think as much as there's so many questions about Arteta, there's so many more now. You know, this coming out and talking about Saka needing to be protected when he's fouled and all that. Like that's terrible. Ramsdale's dad moaning about Ramsdale, and like they're horrible things around the club to be happening and stuff like that. It just looks really, really bad, and it paints the players in a situation of weakness. Because you look at it today. What are you going to do? They're going to try and do reverse psychology. So the minute Gomez puts a tackle in on Saka, is he getting booked?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. And then is Gomez going to deal with that? But I think it'll be all decided in the level of energy and the press and the counter press and stuff like that. We can't afford Rice to be picking up the ball on your 18-yard line, turning and picking a pass. So we need to press him straight away. Endo is really, really good at that. If you've looked at Endo over the last few weeks, he presses that situation straight away and wins the ball back. So it kind of pens teams in. If you let them out, McAllister kind of can be a little bit more standoffish and give you that bit more time. And if he gives Rice that time today, Rice no doubt will open us up. And everyone knows at times how susceptible we are to a ball over the top and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We don't play really, really well when we're turned like that. It's always when we can see the game in front of us and we're on top of it and stuff like that. So that's going to be really, really important that the minute Rice picks up the ball, that we're straight in on him straight away and that we close that down and kill it off. Otherwise, that will cause problems for us.
Yeah, and just even to highlight Lenny, big up Lenny and Anton, Henry and Old School is in the chat as well, and big up everyone.
Seeing that yesterday, that Tierney one.
Yeah,
no thanks. That's terrible, isn't it?
It says it all. Like, you know, like I heard that they had a big falling out. Tierney and Arteta, and understandably so, because like I was sort of before I heard the fallout and stuff like that, I was there like, he has to get this left back in. We need a left back. It's our weakest position. When everyone's fit, it's our weakest position. Zinchenko done okay, but he is more. I was at the Ireland-Ukraine game a few years back, and he actually played in centre midfield. Zinchenko did, and I was there. Like, this was before he even signed for Arsenal, and I was there. Wow, he is fucking brilliant in midfield. I was there, like he stood out, you know. And I was there. Wow, and then we signed him and put him in that left back position, and then he comes in. Like, it worked for a while. I will give Arteta that. It was genius, like, you know. But everyone and his mother knows what Arsenal are doing now, and that position is there. And Liverpool done it the last time when we drew with them. We knew that left position. We knew Zinchenko was coming in, and it's opening the gap on the left-hand side. It was putting too much pressure on Gabriel Magalhaes, who's on that sort of centre left side. It was putting too much pressure on him, and those gaps opening up, you know. And that's how Liverpool sort of got the Salah goal. It was a prime example of that, because Zinchenko was sort of out of position, and then he was trying to
falter,
Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's the sort of, everyone has found out, and it's like, every team just sort of goes down that channel now and tries it, like, so that's how important it is. Like, our left back for me is probably the most important position we need in January to strengthen. And I thought Tierney was going to come back. He's definitely not now. He doesn't want to go near the fucking club, and that, like, fair enough. I completely understand. It's a personal thing, like, but for me, a left back and also obviously a striker, we need, like, but it's going to be interesting today, because I'm dying to know the team he's going to select. Because for me, if he selects a team, I don't mind the Ramsdale Raya thing. I have no problem with Ramsdale going and goal, because for me, like, I was bigging up Raya when he signed them. I was there, great. His distribution of the ball is excellent. But today, Arsenal are going to get a lot of shots at. You know what I mean? Ramsdale is a great shot stopper for me, and I've no problem with that. But if he starts putting Jorginho in instead of Rice, and, weakening down that, like, Reece Nelson in for Saka, and, no, he's fighting an uphill battle then. Then I've no right to protect Arteta, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? If we lose today and he puts out a team weakening like that, I'm sorry. Let the fans at you, Arteta, sorry. For me, you can fuck off. You know what I mean? Do you think, looking at it from the outside, are we sort of, as Arsenal fans, over exaggerating the whole Arteta thing, or, like, do you know much about it? Like, I don't want to put you on the spot.
No, I mean, at times, look, we're both living in a period where we're up against a very, very good Man City side with Pep Guardiola, and it's really, really, really difficult to beat those guys. And I just think the problem with Arteta at the moment is he has driven out so many players. He has bought in so many players. This is his team now, and it's really, really key that team delivers. Because like yourselves, we're steeped in history, we're steeped in silverware, and there's a legacy there, and you can't really be going 4, 5, 6 years. I know he won that FA Cup, but he really won that FA Cup with someone else's team, let's be honest. And that's neither here nor there. If you win it, you win it. But I think since then, he has spent an awful lot of money. Some he has made huge mistakes on. Some he has focused in the wrong areas at times. And I just think he kind of has to deliver. And if he doesn't deliver this season, in order for him to stay there, and I wouldn't be advocating it either, I think change isn't that bad a thing, but I think if he doesn't deliver silverware this season, he's going to have to go damn close. And I mean, really, like, he's going to have to get to finals like what Klopp did, and you miss out on finals, so you get to go again. I totally agree with Henry there on Trossard. Trossard is our Achilles heel. Trossard likes playing against Liverpool Football Club. I have witnessed that firsthand in Anfield. He's a very good player.
Yeah,
he's a very, very good player.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing, and I say it on your shows all the time. I know the boys do be going ballistic about Arteta and stuff like that and all, and rightly so. As I said to you at the start, like, this is a bigger game for Arteta than it nearly is for Arsenal Football Club, because I think a lot of fans have checked out on him anyway, haven't they? I mean, it's a difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah, like, there's a lot now. We went through the period of last season, like, let's say probably from February onwards, there were, like, even me, I says, right, I'll let him have the season and stuff like that, and fair enough. But he started off the season with who was he not playing? Gabriel, he wouldn't play in the centre back, and you're just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like everyone knows, if you have your back four, certainly your back two, your two centre halves, if they're playing well, you don't disrupt that whatsoever. The start of the season, he didn't start Gabriel for the first 2 or 3 games, and did we draw? Did we lose? Like, you're just, what are you doing? Like, you don't change your two centre halves. It's a big deal. Like, you know what I mean? Even you guys last season, I think, who was out injured when Van Dijk actually was out injured, wasn't he? And it disrupted you guys awful.
Yeah, it doesn't take much when elite managers these days build teams around units and pockets of units and stuff like that. And when you lose one of those cogs out of the wheel, it affects everything else and stuff like that. Naturally, our defense, if Van Dijk isn't playing, our defense will drop a certain level in terms of confidence and stuff like that and all. It's no doubt. When you have your key players in there, like your midfield obviously functions much better when Declan Rice is in there, because he has gone in there and he has seamlessly smoothed it in and become an Arsenal boy out of nowhere, basically, like it was all his life. And like it's really important there, you know. The same with Saka. If Saka isn't playing up front for you, even though at times he struggles a little bit with his form and stuff like that, but when he's not there, it's a different kind of energy that's brought there when you're not playing with your better players who you're used to and who you form partnerships with and stuff like that. So yeah, once there's a change there, all you can hope is that through training and through substitutions and through changes and using different players and stuff like that, that sometimes you can seamlessly just put another player in there. So, you know, obviously we're taking Mo Salah out today because of the AFCON. Probably put either Darwin in there or Jota or whoever it is. So hopefully they can seamlessly go in and take that opportunity to step up as well. It's an opportunity when players go off as well to step up and show what they can do. So you can see with Joe Gomez at the moment, left back is a position that has a lot of questions over for us. Obviously, Robbo went out with the collarbone. Now Costas has gone out with a similar injury. We don't know what way they're going to come back. Robbo wasn't great before he went out either. He was struggling for form, and we were getting caught a lot down that left side. So it's a huge opportunity for a player like Joe Gomez to nail down that position. With Robbo, I think, due back in February. Maybe questions have to be asked. Is it Robbo who sits down and Joe takes the position? Whereas what we've seen in the past, if it's Costas in there, as soon as Robbo comes back, he's straight in. So it's not real competition. No one nails down the position. But certainly Joe on his form at the moment certainly has an opportunity to nail down that position. And the beauty of Joe as well is Joe's a very forward-thinking player as well. So he likes to get down that wing and create as well. But we shall see. It's going to be interesting. I'm hoping we go out from the off with high energy, try and dampen down the crowd, because we know the crowd at the Emirates, similar to Anfield, can have a big effect on it. So we need to go in there, put a couple of tackles in there and make it a little bit uncomfortable and press Rice on the ball. Don't give him the opportunity to do what he wants to do and stuff like that. And if you can do that and dampen down the crowd, create a few opportunities, you know, we might be okay today. Let's see what happens.
Like, just on the revert, when we played just there with the draw game just recently, Klopp was on about the Anfield crowd and stuff like that, and rightly so, I suppose. But Arteta's after doing that now for this game. Like I read that he was sort of saying the Emirates needs to be on fire for this Liverpool game, and he's rightly so. Like it definitely has to. Like the Emirates is like, I remember my first time in the Emirates. So after coming from Highbury, where Highbury, the whole crowd is on top of you as a player. You know what I mean? You can't hide on the pitch. Whereas the Emirates, when I went to it, it was like everything's opened up, and I was just there. Oh my God, we're after losing our soul, you know. But last season, I was at the Liverpool game, actually, the Arsenal-Liverpool, the 3-2 game where we won. But the atmosphere at that, oh my God, it was electric. Like I have to say, it was the best atmosphere that I was ever at. And I was at a few games actually last season. But even for me, I brought my young fella over. And for him, you know, as a young fella, you're there. Oh, I could support that team, or I could, like, you know, in Ireland, it's not like the UK. You're from Liverpool or you're from Manchester, right? This is your team you support. But in Ireland and all around the world, like, you know, you can pick a number of teams. But for me, when I brought my son to that game especially, it cemented in him, I'm a gunner. You know what I mean? And you know, the atmosphere was absolutely electric. So today, I think it will be a lot. The game will sway if the Emirates is on fire. You know, it will go in Arsenal's favour. But what you said there is, if Liverpool come out early, if they get a goal, or if they throw in them few tackles, it's going to be a long day for Arsenal. I 100% agree with that. And
go ahead. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, just on the Trossard thing, I want him starting today, obviously. Now, he's been always sort of starting on the left, or, like, you know, and sort of having them float in. I'd rather him in the centre now instead of Jesus. Give him that chance and give him the tickets to just play. Do you know what I mean? Have roam around that centre position. You have Saka, you'll have Martinelli coming in, feeding you in the balls. Give him that opportunity. Give the man that opportunity, because I think Arteta is using him completely wrong. I rate him so highly. I think he's a quality player. Not many players go to Anfield and score a hat-trick. Not many. You know what I mean? And he done that because that Brighton team that he was in, he had the license to just roam around the place, do what he does best. You know, for you as a Liverpool fan, do you think we're getting the most out of him? Like just putting him on that left-hand side, try to cut in, work to Jesus' strengths. What way would you play him?
For me, looking at your front line, for me, he starts. I think he's probably, with the exception of probably Saka, he's probably your best finisher, isn't he, in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net?
Yeah.
I think something similar to Tierney there. I think he's kind of been, since he went in, he's been a little bit disrespected. A lot of times he's come in as a sub and stuff like that. He's gotten key goals for you and stuff like that in key games and all that kind of thing. And then you find the following week he's benched again. And it must be really frustrating for a guy who was a mainstay at Brighton, starting all the time, really, really good. I'm sure he came to Arsenal as a huge opportunity to step up into that top tier of the Premier League. But I don't believe he would have expected to be kind of binned around the way he's been. And that's been, I know it's been a criticism from some of your guys on your shows and stuff like that, and all the way Arteta sometimes manages players. It can be, his man management at times can be really, really poor. And I think Trossard and Tierney are very alike. And I think for Trossard, you know, if he's not starting to nail down something or something like that, he might look away as well. Similar to Ramsdale, I really believe, and I spoke to Darren about this on our shows as well, we actually believe Ramsdale hasn't put in for a transfer because he believes that there's potentially silverware there at Arsenal that he could pick up even as a sub-keeper this year. And I think that's the only reason that's keeping him there. I think if you were out of the Champions League and you were out of the FA Cup today, I think Ramsdale might look for a move. I think he might put in for a transfer. I think because he just, I don't believe this Arteta. We've got two keepers fighting and all that kind of stuff. It's clearly Ray and he was binned off and stuff like that. So I think that level of disrespect as well, it affects your other players on the team as well, because, you know, similar to what you see at United as well, a lot of them are little groups and pockets of mates and stuff like that. And you can see the effect of what's happened with them as well, with Sancho being binned off and all. It's affected a lot of players who are friends of his and teammates and stuff like that. And I think that's a big risk with Trossard there at Arsenal as well. You know, he rarely, how much does he really feature? And when he does feature, he normally does really well. But he doesn't kind of garner the respect that he needs from coming in and doing well to cement a position in the side and stuff like that. And I think that's what he would have been looking towards and stuff like that. I think he's a fabulous player. I was on your show, I think, with Kyle, wasn't it, when you signed him? And how excited I was for him going to Arsenal, because I thought when he goes to Arsenal now, he's going to step up. I mean, there's so many different positions you can play him in where he's really good. He can come in deep as well. You could whack him into the middle. You could put him in a false nine. You could put him behind someone, because he likes scoring goals as well, similar to Martin Odegaard, where he comes in late and arrives late when the ball is there and stuff like that. And he scores a lot of goals that way as well. He did at Brighton anyway. But I think, there's been a certain level of disrespect there as well. And I don't know with Arteta, whether he realizes he's doing it, or is it just, you know, has he been hanging around Pep too long, where he likes to tinker with shit and mess around with stuff and all? At times you've seen it this year. Sometimes he just plays players in weird positions and out of position. And, like, you know, you might have a left back there available and he plays a centre back at left back and he won't use the left back and stuff like that. And it's just, is it his way of tinkering with guys, or is it his way of standing guys down, or, you know, putting his importance forward that he's the manager and it's going to be his way and all this kind of thing? And sometimes that can be at your behest and at your downfall, you know. So it's a weird one. But listen, it's going to be a cracking game. It's old school. It's a Sunday afternoon. What more would you want? The dinner's on, the football's on. It's a great Sunday. Hopefully it's not a replay. Hopefully one of us comes out on top. We don't need any more games. And let's see what happens. But the lineups are going to be intriguing. But I think you'd fear for Arteta a little bit if he goes with a weakened lineup. He has to go with a strong lineup because, as I said earlier, I think the FA Cup is where it's at for you guys this season. I think, you know. And now, whether that would be enough to even keep him or appease the fans, I don't know. It's a piece of silverware, but, you know, it might get him through another season. But I don't know how confident would you be giving him another 150 million to spend this January and another 200 million to spend in the summer, then you'd be approaching what the guts of nearly £1 billion at that stage, wouldn't you? You'd be close to it anyway. So spending £1 billion, and you look at players in there like Zinchenko that you're not too sure about, Kivior you're not too sure about, Reece Nelson on the bench, Eddie Nketiah on the bench. You know what I mean? You've spent nearly, at the moment, I think you're up about what 500-600 million at this stage in the Arteta reign, and you drop another 150, try and get a home this January, and then maybe another 200 in the summer. You're approaching you're approaching the shithousery of Man United levels then at that stage, aren't you? Really, when you think about it, you know what I mean? You're plenty of money spent and nothing to show for it, So it's a huge one.
I want to get I'm going to wrap it up now in a second, but just before you go, I'd like to hear your prediction today. What way is the game going to go?
I think it'll be decided by the odd goal. I can't decide which way it's going to go. I'm going to go Liverpool 2-1. That's what I hope will happen. But I think it'll be tight enough. I don't think it'll be. You've got two good defenses there when they're playing well. Obviously, a little few questions over your one, but there's still quality there to show up. I would definitely be putting Raya in goal. I wouldn't be putting Ramsdale in goal. I'd be going with your strongest back line. It could be potentially last chance saloon. And I think you have to go really, really strong. I think if he changes it up like that, he's looking for trouble. But it's I think it'll go by the odd goal, probably 2-1 either way. Hopefully Liverpool. That's I think it'll be a tight game.
I'd say for myself, it's going to be a tight game. Arteta has to, as I said, he has to start a strong team, because if he doesn't start a strong team, he's in for trouble. You know what I mean? He'll be going over to Dubai or wherever they're going to go with a negativity over his shoulders. Then you may have players then that, let's say, are like the likes of Ramsdale, Trossard, who have been on the brink, sort of forming that pocket of friendships with and you're starting to get an unsettled squad then, you know what I mean? You don't want that. You know what I mean? You do not want that. This game is vital for not only Arsenal, but for Arteta. Today, I was positive, but now talking to you, I'm not too positive. You know what I mean? But I was thinking at the start probably 2-1, but I was just sort of buzzing, 2-1. But now I think it's a draw. I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw. You know what I mean? I really do, because it's like Klopp takes this tournament serious, like he takes every trophy serious. Arteta, I think he knows there's a lot on the line, and he knows that the fan base will get on his back if he doesn't go out and win this game. So Arsenal will be taking this serious, So I have to go. I have to go a draw. You know what I mean? That's the way I'm looking at it anyway. But I'm just gonna thanks a million, Niall, for dropping by.
Not a problem. Anytime, pal.
I just dropped your link just in the comments there, so please do go and just hit a sub on Niall's channel. You will not regret it. I don't steer you wrong, folks. Please, just hit a sub, hit a few likes on his videos and stuff like that, and check it out. And also hit a like on this before you leave, and his subs if you don't mind. Niall, as I says, thanks a million for dropping by. From 4:30 today, I wish you the world of unluckiness. No offense. But as Mr. B, I think, said it, or someone in the comments says it there, I'm jealous of that trophy over your left shoulder, is it? We want one of them.
Absolutely.
Thanks a million, everyone, as well, for dropping by and putting your comments in. Really do appreciate it. And just hit a like on the way out. Come on, you Gunners. As it says, Niall, before I go, what do you have coming up on your channel?
Yeah, probably match reaction later on, one way or another, as we always do, which is always
I'll drop in the comments and have my say.
Yeah, absolutely. Tomorrow is the Monday mashup, so we do that every Monday. So that'll be a review of all the weekend's action, plus any transfer news and everything else that's going on. Big up Static, love Static.
Yeah,
and any any transfer news and stuff like that. Then Wednesday we have the pro wrestling show, so we go through all the week's pro wrestling news and stuff like that. Good crack on that one, Pro Wrestling Weekly. Then Thursday I'm on with your good mate Dazzler. We do Thursday tier talk, so we're going to be following the AFCON, Dell, and all. We're going to be covering the AFCON, so we're going to have a bit of crack doing that. We do it every time it's on. It's great crack. Love it.
Who's your team this year? I'm going for Ghana because of Chris Houghton.
I mentioned Ghana the other night as a dark horse to win it, and I'm going with Morocco. I think Morocco are going to kick on from their World Cup form, and I think it's Morocco's time. So that's what I'm thinking. So obviously Egypt and Senegal. I'd be quite happy to have Egypt go out fairly early, just because I'm a greedy Liverpool fan and I have Mo Salah back, but I don't see that happening. Really looking forward to it. So we'll be covering the AFCON on Thursday. We'll also be doing a preview for the weekend's action, and obviously our tips and picks for Beat the Bookie and any kind of transfer news and everything. Kind of mixed bag on that show. Just go with the flow, with the chat and all that kind of stuff.
No, happy days. Lovely stuff. Thanks a million, Niall. I really appreciate it. And thanks to everyone as well in your comments and liking and everything like that. Really do appreciate it. But yeah, come on, you Gunners. Let's go for it. Take care. All the best.